Matt here, the average Joe, for the next video in this series. This will be my second video, so I apologize. It doesn't look, more professional. Um, I also want to, go back and state for the record. Probably should have said this on my first video that I have in no way been contacted by the Sleep and Sinus Centers of Georgia or Dr. Dillard or anyone from his practice and asked to do these messages or make this, these statements. I'm doing this freely and voluntarily of my own accord because, I believe in him. I believe in what the practice does, and I believe in the work that they're doing, and I want to help get that message out. The second disclaimer I want to put out there is I am not a doctor. This is purely informational purposes and opinion based. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, just like I am, and these represent some of mine. So, with that being said, today I want to talk about weight loss. Everybody's favorite topic. We've all probably at some point in our life done several diets, had mixed successes or failures, short term results. A lot of us, if we're still having to deal with weight loss, have probably gone on a diet, had some success, and then kind of fell off the bandwagon and fell back into our old routines. This is not, out of the ordinary. The problem is a diet is not going to work until you're fully committed. So if you go into this thinking, I'm going to have a cheat day, I'm going to do this on Saturday, this won't hurt me. If you're not going to follow the diet that you choose to the letter, then you're probably not going to have the results that you're seeking. You got to be dedicated, you got to be committed. You're the only one that can make that choice. So once you make that commitment to yourself, then you're ready to start a diet. Now, I'm also not going to endorse any one specific diet. I mean, I've tried different diets throughout my life. I've had success, I've had failure. I've done the Atkins diet. I was very successful at one time with the Atkins diet. Now there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not that's safe because it's, I guess high fat, high cholesterol. It is a low carb diet. I am currently doing a diet that is technically based on the Quick Weight Loss program through the Quick Weight Loss Center. A neighbor of mine in the neighborhood, when I moved in here a little over a couple years ago, I have a couple neighbors down the street from me that I learned over time had been going to see a nutritionist named Janice Camp, who does a quick weight loss program, and obviously it's structured towards to each individual after a consultation. I have seen the results in them and was completely astonished. A lot of people can say I did this, it worked. We've all seen the infomercials that say if I take this pill, you're going to lose weight. The reality is, a lot of that stuff is garbage and probably not even medically safe, particularly if you have other medical conditions like sleep apnea, which is why I think it is important to understand some of this stuff. I have known for a long time that I have been overweight, and my weight is probably a contributing factor to my sinus issues and my sleep apnea. There are direct correlations medically and scientifically that prove this. So there's no question in my mind, and there's no surprise to me at this point that I'm sleeping better already through a combination of weight loss and what I've accomplished through the Sleep and Sinus Center of Georgia under Dr. Dillard's care. I started my diet with Janice over probably just right around 2 months ago, maybe just a little less than 2 months ago. I had a weigh-in this week. I have passed my first benchmark, and I am down right around 37, almost 38 pounds in the time that I've been doing this, which is remarkable. I'm already having issues with keeping my pants up. I've got a pair of shorts on right now with a belt, and it's cinched all the way over, and they're still falling off of me when I walk. So I may actually have to buy another pair of shorts here soon, or get a better belt, something, because I'm having every time I go out of the house, I'm having to hold my pants up even though I have a belt on. So that's a good thing. For a lot of people, that may seem rapid. I am a believer in the old stigma that men are going to lose weight faster than women. It just seems like, that's the way it goes. But the key here is I haven't cheated. I went in for a consultation with Janice. She structured a plan to me. I have a list that I was provided of fruits and vegetables, things that I can eat. The protein, is mainly fish, chicken, no pork, no beef. So I can still, I eat a lot of chicken currently. It's heavy, vegetable based. It's all healthy stuff. Um, I have a meal in the morning. In the morning, when you first start out, it seems like you're kind of like, oh my God, how am I going to survive on this amount of food? Particularly if you haven't been on a diet for a while. When I started out, my breakfast routine was something along the lines of 3/4 of a cup of regular Cheerios, not Honey Nut Cheerios, regular Cheerios, the ones that don't taste that great, with a little bit of milk and half a banana. That was my breakfast. And I'm not the type of person that even normally eats breakfast. But it is important because it does kickstart your day. And I have found, I've gotten used to that now. I'm still not craving breakfast in the morning or want breakfast in the morning, but I typically eat my breakfast in the morning. You can or you can also have eggs, preferably egg whites, stuff like that. So I mean, you can still eat a lot of the stuff that you would normally eat. Lunch, I usually have a turkey sandwich with some tomatoes, lettuce, something like that on the sandwich. The bread I use, I can only have 2 slices of bread a day, and it's this bread it's really kind of bad. I mean, just being honest, it's like a double fiber bread, and it it doesn't. I mean, compared to regular bread, it definitely does not taste that great. But you can toast it. You can use mayo, mustard, things like that. So you can kind of get through it. But it is healthier, and it has far fewer calories, and it's a lot higher in fiber, so it's much better for you. And then, but basically your lunch and your dinner. You have a protein. You have some vegetables. Throughout the course of the day, you can have uh, snacks, like you can have like a cheese stick or some raisins, or you can have limited amounts of fruit because fruit is high in sugar. But in the grand scheme of thing, it's a fairly low calorie and low carb diet. You're not going to be getting a lot of carbohydrates. You're definitely not getting any sugar. Um, can't drink any type of sugary drinks. Can't even drink alcohol. The biggest challenge for me was the drinking, and only because it's football season, and I'm a pretty social drinker during football season. Watching the Bulldogs, but nevertheless, I committed, so I haven't cheated. I think for the first 3 or 4 weeks, I wasn't allowed to have any alcohol, none whatsoever. No beer, no drinks, no cocktails, nothing. And I didn't cheat. But I'm not going to lie, I was looking forward to the end of that so that I'd, at least be able to have a cocktail or two or a beer on game day. Um, when I got to that appointment, because I check in weekly and have a weigh in with Janice, uh, I uh, I asked her. I said, "So can I start drinking now?" And I was pretty excited because I was assuming she was going to say, "Sure, you can drink, you can have whatever you want." Um, I'm a bourbon guy, and unfortunately, bourbon is not one of the preferred liquors out there if you're on a diet, because it's got a lot of sugar in it. And then if you mix it with something that's got sugar in it, it's even worse for you. So she basically told me, look, if you want to drink, you got a choice at this point. You can have one drink a day, a liquor drink. It has to be a clear liquor, white liquor, vodka, tequila, rum, as long as it's clear. But you can basically have one drink a day. You can't mix it with anything that has sugar. Of course, you could mix it with like Coke Zero or a diet soda or something like that. And that's it. Anything beyond one drink, and when I say one drink, we're talking about typically like what would be one jigger of alcohol or one shot glass, poured into a drink. Beyond that, that's another drink. So if you're gonna have a second drink, at that point you would have to be willing to give up something else from your meal during the day, which of course sounds nuts because let's face it, you're not getting a whole lot to eat during the day, and in the beginning you're definitely hungry. After about 2 weeks, you get to the point where at the end of the day at the dinner, sometimes you can't finish dinner. I mean, your stomach's definitely going to shrink, your appetite's definitely going to decrease. And then when you get to the stage where, if you're a recreational or social drinker, you can drink. She basically put it to me like this: you can drink your calories or you can eat them. And obviously, I'd rather eat mine, so I've chose food and have continued not to drink. That being said, as I've shed down these 37, 38 pounds over the last couple months, I've already noticed differences in my breathing. Now I am post-op from my sinus surgery. I'm about 2 weeks out now. Just had a follow-up on that with Dr. Dillard yesterday at the Sleep and Sinus Center. Everything's looking good. I still got some stitching and some dissolvable packing up in my sinuses that is still, going to take some time to work its way out, but I'm getting clearer and clearer every day now. My wife told me the other night that I actually, when she came to bed, I was asleep and my mouth was closed and I wasn't snoring. I was actually breathing through my nose with my mouth closed, and I probably haven't slept. I probably haven't slept good and sound like a normal, healthy person should in 12 plus years. So I will admit I've been getting up now feeling much more rested, recharged. I have a lot more energy. It's I can definitely tell it's a combination of the weight loss, and it's a combination of getting some of the sinus issues that I had fixed. Weight loss is an important factor, and a lot of these doctors, even though they may never say it to you, Dr. Dillard's never drilled in my head or made me feel awkward and said, "Hey, you got to lose weight. You're fat. If you don't, none of this is going to work." He assumes, I think, to a large degree, that if you're overweight, you're overweight, and you probably don't need to be told again by a person. I'm sure it's come up a time or two in conversation, but he's not one of these doctors that you're going to go to and he's going to keep beating you in the head. And every time you go in there, he's going to be, what's going on? What are you doing about your weight loss? These problems are all tied into your weight. Never experienced any of that with him. I knew personally that I was overweight. I have for some time obviously wanted to lose weight, and I knew that anything I could do in that arena would only help and contribute to whatever he's doing or supplement the work he's doing trying to help me to breathe, which he completely agreed with 110%. So sleep apnea, we're on the same topic. It's very dangerous. Like I said in my previous video, you're stopping breathing during the night. Your body's gasping for air. Your body's going into a panic state and being awoken, which is causing the release of hormones, which can trigger things like hunger and appetite. Which makes you eat more. There's a lot of studies out there that show sleep apnea is connected to weight loss, and that if you're not sleeping properly, your body's not functioning properly, and if your body's not functioning properly, it's not handling sugar properly, it's not handling your food properly, digestion, etc., etc. There's also a big connection between acid reflux and sleep apnea, and that was new to me. And when I first started treating with Dr. Dillard, I definitely had an acid reflux problem. And for anybody that's had that, it's crazy. I mean, it's terrible. You wake up in the middle of the night and that acid's come up, and you're coughing and it's burning, and you're trying to get it out of there, and it takes a minute. And if you're having sleep problems, that just adds to the problem. So sleep apnea, it's underdiagnosed. People don't know that it's that serious. People take it for granted. People look, man. People are dying from this left and right, because they're not breathing. You got to get checked. Do your part. Help the doctors. Shed some pounds. Help them get help by getting your weight down. Take the initiative upon yourself. I'm not saying you have to do quick weight loss. There's plenty of good diets out there. I'm a firm believer that no one diet works for everybody. I'm also a firm believer that all diets can potentially work if people follow the guidelines and the rules of the diet. But if you're going to cheat, make stuff up as you go, do your own thing, then you can't expect to be successful with any diet. So wait and commit to what you're going to do and mean it. Accept it. Know that you're going to do it yourself mentally. Don't worry about what anybody else is telling you or suggesting. You got to decide for yourself that you're going to do this. When you can do that, you're ready to start a diet, whether you go to a nutritionist or not. I needed a little more guidance because I'm lazy. So that's why I finally decided to go see a nutritionist. You know, I laugh and joke about her. I call her my probation officer because I have to like go in and check with her, you know, every week right now. And you know, it's like I'm gonna go in and I'm telling her what I did, and you know, I keep a food diary, and you know, I get slapped on the hands every once in a while. Like one time I ate rice, and you're not supposed to eat rice because rice is horrible when it comes to weight gain, and it sticks with you for a long time. And I didn't really know that, and it was in a Hello Fresh meal, which we eat periodically. I didn't think about it at the time, but I did eat the rice, and I did tell her, and I had it on my food diary, and she was like, "What'd you eat rice for?" And I'm like, I didn't know I couldn't. Honestly, I didn't go back and look at my list of do's and don'ts, but it was apparently it was on the list, so I shouldn't have eaten it. But you know, you live and you learn. You make a mistake, you make up for it. It was definitely not intentional. What I'm saying is you don't want to make any intentional mistakes. You know, like, you know, you can't eat a ton of fruit because fruit's full of sugar. I was also, for a while back, I was considered diabetic. And I'm at the point now where I'm nowhere near diabetic. I have a great A1C. And all of that has been accomplished strictly through diet now. In addition to like the acid reflux, I mean, I'm knocking stuff off here on a regular basis where I used to have to take medications for, which have who knows what other kinds of side effects that you may or may not realize. But I'm getting to the point where it's like I'm chipping away at knocking off these medicines that I have to take every day because I don't have the conditions anymore. And a lot of that is attributed to the diet and the weight loss. So give it a shot. Think about it. I hope this helps. Again, I'm just an average Joe, you know, trying to make it in the world. So I've offered my 2 cents. I hope that helps some people make a decision, or make, you know, if not making a decision to eat better, you know, maybe to consider a diet if you are overweight, and you know, weight is important, and you shouldn't take it for granted because it really does have an effect on the rest of your body and your systems. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that it's a huge factor in sleep apnea. So I am excited and looking forward to being done with sleep apnea. You know, not having to think or feel guilty anymore about, you know, the old dreaded CPAP machine that's, you know, in the closet with a half-inch of dust on it because there's no, I mean, who's going to wear that at night? Come on. I think 70% of the population that is diagnosed with sleep apnea and gets a CPAP machine uses it for 2 or 3 days, 2 weeks tops. And then for whatever reason, comfort, aggravation, whatever reason, ends up in the closet collecting dust. It's sad, but it's just the reality of the nature of the device. It's big, it can be noisy, there's a lot of maintenance involved, and people just don't want to mess with that. So, again, laziness. If I can fix all that by controlling my diet, getting some exercise, eating right, and getting some weight off, as opposed to having to wear that thing every night, I'd rather do that. I'd rather not have to worry about the CPAP machine at all or feel guilty about not using it because I don't need it anymore. I'm not at that stage yet. I probably technically should still be using it. Fortunately, I have a new sleep study coming up soon with Dr. Dillard to gauge our progress, and we'll see where we are. But the focus of this is weight loss. Think about it. Give it a try. Again, I'm always open to welcome comments, feedback. I'm here for questions. If anybody needs a referral to Janice, she's local here. She's actually out of the Walton County area in northeast Georgia. I think she has another location close to Loganville as well. If you're local and you see this and you're interested, otherwise you can always look into quick weight loss or QWLC online, and there's probably a place local to you. So check it out, think about it, and I'll catch y'all later. The Average Joe signing off.